In this video, we're going to learn how to use the particle で to mark the means of an action, such as I eat with chopsticks. I wrote an email in Japanese. Let's review what we already know about the particle で. で marks the place where an action takes place. An example is うちでアニメを見ます. Here, で marks the place where the watching action happens. Also, で marks the boundary or the limit. An example is アニメで一番好きです. In this case, で sets a boundary, so this means I like it the most within the boundary of anime. Today we'll focus on a new function. で marks the tool or means used to carry out an action. For example, I eat with chopsticks is 箸で食べます. 箸で食べます. Please be careful here. When you see with in English, you might be tempted to use the particle と, but と means together with, so 箸と食べます may sound like you're eating together with chopsticks as a companion. To avoid confusion, we can usually think of で as using. Another example is I watch videos on my smartphone, or I watch videos using my smartphone as the means. スマホで動画を見ます. スマホで動画を見ます. で can also mark the means of payment. An example is I pay by credit card, or I pay using a credit card. カードで払います. カードで払います. Also, I pay by cash or I pay using cash is 現金で払います. 現金で払います. で is also used to specify the language or medium of communication. For example, I speak in Japanese or I speak using Japanese is 日本語で話します. 日本語で話します. If you are a programmer, you might say, I code in Python, or I code using Python. Python でコードを書きます. Python でコードを書きます. で can mark the method of transportation. For example, I go by car, or I go using a car is 車で行きます. 車で行きます. I go home by taxi, or I go home using a taxi is タクシーで帰ります. タクシーで帰ります. Let's see more examples. When we ask by what means or how a person does an action, we use どうやって. So for example, how did you get from the airport to the hotel is 空港からホテルまでどうやって行きましたか? 空港からホテルまでどうやって行きましたか? You may also hear people say 何で, which means how or more specifically by what means. So we can also say 空港からホテルまで何で行きましたか? 空港からホテルまで何で行きましたか? If the answer is I went by rental car, it would be レンタカーで行きました. レンタカーで行きました. Shiro says I teach Japanese on YouTube. YouTube で日本語を教えています. YouTube で日本語を教えています. In this case, you can think of the particle で as marking either the place of action, because YouTube can be a virtual place where Shiro's Japanese teaching takes place, or the means of action, because YouTube is the tool she uses to teach Japanese. Let's try some quizzes. Can you say I wrote an email in Japanese? 日本語でメールを書きました。日本語でメールを書きました。Can you say, Shiro is talking with her friend on the phone in her room? シロは部屋で友達と電話で話しています。シロは部屋で友達と電話で話しています。Let's do a listening challenge. この間、アメリカのラーメン屋さんに行きました。スマホで QR コードをスキャンしてメニューを見ました。このお店の店員さんは日本語を話すので日本語で注文しました。ラーメン代はカードで払って、チップは現金で払いました。餃子と唐揚げも食べたのでお腹いっぱいになりました。アメリカで食べたラーメンの中で一番美味しかったです。Today we learned how to use the particle で to specify the means of an action. Thank you for watching. ありがとうございます。